Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Life at a Car Dealership Live with your host, me, Ben, him, Brett. Our guest today, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Damian Boudreaux, the one and only, here to talk to you today about life, love, the car business, and everything in between on our Take Two intro. And man, we are pumped. Are we not, Brett? We are pumped.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Damian's my favorite guy in the business for training, coaching, great energy, great people person, and I'm just so thankful that you're here with us.
Yeah, so, okay, I'll set the stage one more time since apparently nobody could hear us. So I'll set the stage. Brett and I are two recently re-employed, non-furloughed car salesmen in the state of Michigan, where sales has been shut down and service is slow, but we're now open to do business remotely once again. So we're back in business, right along in the same boat with the number one car salesman in the world. And that's our segue to introduce you, Mr. Boudreaux, because you have a very personal relationship with him and with a lot of other salesmen in the business. You have been a car salesman. You have been a coach, a motivational speaker, a mentor, a trainer, and we are just so excited to drink from the wealth of knowledge today.
Thank you for having me. I love the music, dude. Oh, great way to start.
That's Brett. Brett picked that song. It was a great pick.
I add very little to the show besides music and reading comments.
And good looks. That's it. That's all you got. Everything else doesn't matter.
He's the stud. I'm the hooligan. So, hey, should we welcome everybody that's tuned in? Let's see. We got 25 people on right now. Welcome to Peter and Steve, Kimberly, Kristen, Karen, Matthew, Debbie. We got comments coming in all over the place. Everybody's saying they're super fans. What do you say, Brett?
Yeah. So for anybody that hasn't watched before, that's watching for the first time, we are a comment-driven show, so if you have any questions for Damian and you want him to answer a specific topic or touch on anything, shoot them in the comments, and we'll make sure to try to get that question asked to Damian. Yeah.
So, can I kind of set you up here for a second, Mr. Boudreaux?
Yeah.
So you are the king of relational selling, right? You tell people just be who you are at your best. And that is where it starts, and it goes from there.
Absolutely.
I think that's a message that a lot of us need to hear right now when times are tough. We need to hear that even when times are good. But when times are tough and there's lots to complain about, it's difficult to be at your best.
Yeah, there's a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of doubt, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of people out there wondering, what do I do next? How do I do it? Am I even going to have some place to go? Am I going to lose my house? And all of those things are wonderful to think about, but they're not serving you. The human spirit is incredible. If you've ever had anything bad happen in your life, on the other side of the door of the event, at some point you got magical because of the negative that happened to you. For me, this is exciting. This is interesting because it's the first global evolution of my life. Had a lot of evolutions in my life. Evolutions are not a bad thing. This would be known as an evolution, right? This is a time when things will change, things will evolve, things will move. And on the other side of the door of this event is a new beginning, is a new opportunity, is new possibilities, or it is devastation. It is, whatever you choose to have on the other side of the door of this, you can have. Now, I'll give you an example of evolution, right? Because there's been regional evolutions and financial evolutions and personal evolutions in our lives. So I was born in 1961. In 1957, there was a hurricane called Hurricane Audrey that wiped out the parish below, a parish is a county in Louisiana, the parish below Calcasieu Parish, where I grew up. My whole life, every time there was a storm in the Gulf of Mexico, a tropical storm about to be a hurricane, everybody said, now look, we got to go now. Remember Hurricane Audrey? Hurricane Audrey was bad. Hundreds of people died. The Cameron Parish wiped out. But it saved lives later because everybody learned from the evolution that happened in Hurricane Audrey. I could go to Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Katrina totally destroyed New Orleans, right? I mean, Fifth Ward. I mean, you go to St. Bernard Parish, crazy, right? Everybody leaving. All you heard was about the bad stuff. You didn't hear about all the Cajun community coming together, all them good people coming together and cooking and taking care of, and the Cajun Navy going in and picking up people, all them musicians from New Orleans for years leaving and going to Memphis and Dallas and Houston, and all these young musicians getting to stay in New Orleans. And all of a sudden, the music of New Orleans became rich because of all these new talented young bucks and princesses and queens wanting to sing in a town that loved music. And the music in New Orleans evolved because Katrina happened. All these events, there's a tsunami in 2004, Indian Ocean tsunami destroys places. Went to an island right outside of India. You can't even tell. Looks brand new, right? 2004, right? 1994, my daughter dies. 7 years of her life, an evolution that is personal to me, right? 6 years, almost 7 years she lived. Magical Misery Tour changed my life, made life better. This is who I am today because of my little girl, my teacher. Evolution. COVID-19, 2008,
Yeah.
financial stud, crash, housing market, crash, everything wiped out, right? Ali Rita is at a Chevrolet dealership. They close the dealership. He leaves that dealership, goes to Les Stanford Chevrolet. 2 weeks later, his general sales manager said, you have to go listen to Boudreaux. And Ali says, I would not be the person I am today if I wouldn't have learned that relationship selling can be the only way you sell, and you teach me how to do it. Right. That tragedy helped somebody sell 131 cars a month. Yeah. You look at every tragedy in your life, and on the other side of the door is blessings and gold, and you learned. And right now is the greatest possibility if you start talking to your community. If you start helping your community, if you start connecting with your community, and you start talking to people for nothing, the common thing that happens when a tragedy happens is people say, I can't help them. Why would I call them? There's nothing I can do for them. I just soon not. That's exactly when you need to call.
Yeah.
The counterintuitive nature of that is you call because everybody else isn't. That's how simple this life is. You have to start reaching out. Never been a better time to hang in there. Don't quit. Stay at the store. Build the relationships. Connect to the community. Build your brand within yourself. Get good at being you so you can love and care for everybody in your community. And that's how simple the business is. Okay, we finished?
Yeah, that's it. We're going to sign off. I'll start the music again. Cue the exit music. No, this is this. We're just
loves the music.
Every time you have a microphone, every time you end something like that, you need to drop the microphone, and Brett and I will just clap. So this is a real life, man, because this is a conversation that we were having 3 weeks ago before everything shut down, right? So GM rolls out 0% financing for 84 months, and everybody's like, do we call people and tell them? Like, how do we have that conversation? So there's a struggle. If you're struggling just being in the car business, which a lot of people are, right? And then you have to find a reason to be proud of what you do. And then you have to get on the phone and try to be nice to people and try to build a relationship. But really, the real reason you're calling them is because ultimately you want to sell them a car. How do you separate, in your mind, being a genuine person that wants to have relationships with people and help people with the fact that, yes, ultimately you're doing that because you want to do business with them?
And truthfully, salespeople don't think that way anyway. I mean, most of us will do more for somebody else than we'll ever do for ourselves. We're generous people, right? We want people to like us. So just reaching out to them without the expectation of an outcome, just for their concern, for your caring for them, will return that. It's
just
the
end
ability.
End it in the mind,
Yeah.
right? Just
People
separate from the fact that you're trying to make a sale.
Don't make it about you. Right now, especially, you can't make it about the sale. People are going to be turning in their cars. They don't have a job. Right now, you need to care about them for nothing. I promise you it'll pay dividends, because it always does. You know, every one of those funnel companies, right? All them people who teach funnels say, give them information, give them some tricks, give them some secrets, and then take them down. That's what they all teach. Well, I'm just saying, give it and give it and give it and give it. And without any effort at all, they'll come to you.
Yeah.
They'll come to you. You become a magnet because of your gratitude, because of your givingness, because of your gratitude. It's just human nature. You know, everybody quotes the scripture, ask and you shall receive, right? But It's give and it shall be given back to you as
Referrals.
well. You can picture any one of those things. But most of us who are salespeople, who are hired as salespeople, have a high emotional intellect, are very socially connected to people, and we have a gift that we know when to do something right, and so we do it. If you just do it the way you naturally feel it, without trying to be pushy, you'll get. Now there are people who can be pushy. I'm not saying that doesn't work for anything. I just have people who are selling anywhere from 50 to 130 cars a month that I work with doing it this way. You can stay at 10 or 12 or 20 or 15 or you can get 30, but that ain't no money when you compare to the people who I work with.
Yeah. So I was having a conversation recently with a young salesperson, new to the business. I think two things are basically true, and you alluded to this earlier. As human beings, we want to be wanted, and we want to help people. That just feels good. If people want me, and then they feel like gratitude toward me because I'm helping them, that's good, positive energy. And so often in the car business, right, we want people to want what we're selling, and we want to help them, and we want to get credit for that. We want them to be happy that we're helping them, but the customers don't treat us like they want us. And they don't treat us like we're helping.
You're right. Transactional customers are defensive because you've got to sell them on liking you, trusting in you, and believing in you. Yeah. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people who already like you, trust you, and believe in you. You don't have to sell them anything. They come in and give you a hug, even with COVID.
So do you think you can take one of those transactional customers and turn them into the relational customer?
Yeah, but you have a better chance. Yes, and you have a natural community anyway. You have what I call the apple tree, right? Of all the people in your community who already know you. Right? But what happens is we get in the car business and we wait for a dealer-driven opportunity. Yeah. Right? A transactional customer. Right. And we neglect all the people who already know us. We don't stay connected to them for nothing. Yeah. You didn't try to sell cars when you were in high school. But when you started selling cars, you didn't connect with everybody from high school. Right. And everybody from high school at some point liked you. Some of them did. You know? Yeah. Right. But the whole point of salespeople is, that's right, they want to help people and they want to be liked. What if let's go back. When somebody gets in the business for the first time, right? They don't know nothing. They know less than nothing. They don't know where the cars are. They don't know what a word track is. They don't know how much things are. They don't know the manager sucks. They don't know.
And just like that, they start selling cars.
They sell everybody.
Right. Because they're enthusiastic and they're not afraid.
Here's why. After 90 days, they can't sell anybody. Right. So what happens? Here's what happens. They come to the dealership and all they know how to be is Brett. I'm just Brett. Oh my God, I'm having fun. Oh, look at me. I love this thing. Oh my God, look at this car. 365 days old. We call it an anniversary edition. He thinks it's an anniversary edition. He sells the car. He's so excited. He gets a 370 Beacon approved. How did he do that? I don't know. He's new, right? And then he starts being told what to do by Ben, the manager.
Yeah.
And Ben starts telling him what to do. And then Brett goes, okay, I'll do that. And the doing all of a sudden doesn't match his being.
Yeah.
And so now he's out of integrity. Now he's less than authentic. Yeah. Now the avatar of Brett changes because he no longer believes in himself. He doesn't believe in the deal. He doesn't believe in the dealership. And he starts to lose track. And he says, if I have to do this, then I have to change this. And that'll never line up. The reason successful people are successful is because their being comes in front of their doing.
Yeah.
And new people have this thing where they believe everybody can buy and everybody likes them and every manager is great and every car is perfect and everybody who comes in is coming in to buy a car. And then after 90 days, they learn who not to wait on and what a credit bureau looks like.
Yeah.
So what happens is we just lose the beingness of authenticity. So when we start teaching salespeople, for example, how to listen, to respond by overcoming the objection, we get them to stop listening to understand.
Yeah.
And I want to understand the customer more than sell the customer.
I think that's something that's so rare today in society, that people listen to understand. And I think that's part of the service that we provide as salespeople. Would you agree that we sell a product?
That takes patience.
Yes. And you know, when you got that talker, right? They won't shut up, right? Because it's like you open the spigot and you're the first person in the last 3 years to actually listen to them. And they just want to tell you everything. You can't shut these people up. They love you so much.
Yeah. You know, our example of the car business is here's what it takes to be a car salesman. You got to bully run over everybody to get them to drag to a close.
Yeah.
And we've been led to believe that the ability to close is what's important. But the ability to connect is what puts my salespeople in a position where their business is more profitable, because they make more per sale without any effort of closing, because they're closing 80% of the people they talk to, not 20.
Yeah.
Their business is sustainable. They're not waiting on dealer-driven opportunities. So they're only waiting on their tribe, right? Their community. The dealer-driven opportunities are none of their business. So they can take 6 or 8 weeks off a year because they don't need that business, right? Their grosses are higher, so their profit is more. And their business is scalable. The longer they sell, the more people talk to them. Their toughest customer, my salespeople's toughest customers, are referrals. And a lot of them are double and triple referrals where 3 people have told them to come see them. But that only happens in the relationship model of doing business, not the transactional model of doing business. And everybody teaches transactional, right? And nobody shows you how to get to relationship. And they say repeats and referrals, repeats and referrals. You ever heard that?
Oh, all the time.
Oh.
So let's talk about the customer's decision for a second. And then I'll let Brett jump in because he's probably got some comments he wants to catch us up on. I can see him. He's chomping at the bit.
Oh, no. I'm just in awe because I get to look at Damian talk.
On the same screen as you. He's right next to you.
That's painful.
How cool is that?
There are people with my picture in the corners of houses because it scares rats and roaches away. Nothing good to look at here.
So let's talk about the customer's decision for a second. Because you break the road to the sale down not 12 steps, not 10 steps, not 8 steps, right? It's like 3 steps, right? It's like find the problems, right? Present the solution and get the deal.
Not quite.
Go ahead. Correct me. Now listen, I took a very brief look through your book. Give us the Damian road to the sale. I got the first one right, didn't I?
Here's one of the challenges of teaching in the automotive industry. First of all, we don't teach based on how we were trained to learn, right? We're taught based on information. So if we take the road to the sale, the 12-step pattern, the 10 commandments, right? We take that, nobody remembers it. And nobody remembers it because it's not based on natural behavior.
Right.
Natural behavior is, how do you sell somebody? How do you find out which child spilled the milk? That road to that sale has to be the same as the F&I department, as the service advisor, as the HR department when they're hiring somebody, as conflict resolution. How do they find out? The first thing they have to do is they have to ask questions.
Yeah.
You cannot assume what somebody wants. The other thing is, most people are asking questions so they can pick a vehicle, right? And we're saying, now you're just selling a commodity. What you have to do is ask questions to get the customer's picture, to discover PP, a problem they're moving away from or a possibility they're moving towards. That means you have to ask more questions so you have a better understanding. Now, if you've ever had a customer say, I want the red one, I want the red one, I want the red one, and then they bought a blue one because you didn't have a red one, the reason they bought the blue one is because some reason or another, the blue one solved the problem, solved the possibility, and they could see themselves in it for the same reason. It's not because the price, although we throw price at it, right?
Yeah.
So the first step of everything you do when you have a child who spills the milk and you got 3 kids, all right, so where were you when this happened? And what did you do then? And what happened there? And eventually you'll get the picture and discover the problem that the one kid has.
Yeah.
The next thing is to give information based on the picture. You don't want to verbally vomit 30,000 pounds of information of everything you know about a Honda Accord. Customer doesn't care. Customer cares about the problem or the possibility, and you give information based on that. You give information by letting them drive the car. You give information by letting them meet the service department, service advisor that's your favorite service advisor. That's how you give them information. The information builds value in the problem or the possibility they're trying to move away from or towards.
Yeah.
The third step is to offer solutions with choices, right? And that's about letting everybody choose how they're going to get it. I grew up in a drugstore. I watched my dad. He never said, here's the pill. He said, there's all kind of ways to get better. You can drink 30 wonderful flavors of cough syrup. You can go to the doctor. You get shot in the butt. You can go, you take a pill, a caplet, drink a lot of water. You can do a lot of different things to get well. He always said the patient knew the best way for them to get well. So those are 3 steps. Now, Ali's 3 steps need to be like you're running your hand over a marble countertop. And when you run your hand over the marble countertop, there should be no grit. There should be no stickiness. So if you're selling 10 cars, the way you sell should be no stickiness, no grit. But when you get to 40 cars, you need to have a process that works for a 40-car salesman who's only working with people who know them. So the process evolves, staying within the same 3 steps. And so that's how simple it is. But it's based on natural behavior. You go on a date, you ask her questions to get the picture, discover what the problems have been in her past, the possibilities of you being the right one. If you're interested, you give her informations about, this is how good looking I am. This is why I'm so impressed. I got some pretty decent money. You might consider me. And then you offer solutions with choices, about what to do next. It's natural behavior. And teaching should be based on transformational, Socratic, natural behavior. And all of my teaching it's based on how you feel inside. Look, we teach people word tracks, right? And people take those word tracks and all of a sudden they don't sound like themselves anymore.
Yeah.
Because what they do is they start the word track in their stomach and they go up here and they go, oh, I got to go around my heart. I won't be needing that. And when they come through their vocal cords, it changes because they're not talking from their heart. They got to go to their head first. And the head sounds different than the heart. And so if we're coming from the heart, now I can have a salesman talk straight. And the person at the grocery store is the same person at the dealership as the same person at the dinner table with the children. We got no mask.
Awesome stuff, man.
Simple, really, isn't it?
Right.
Just common sense. It ain't nothing fancy.
Right. And we were talking to you a little bit earlier, and you said just be yourself with people. And I think Ben and I have touched on that a couple times throughout the show, is that we've talked about rapport building. We've talked about building relationships with your customers, and I think you really hit the nail on the head there with that as well.
So
Yeah, just got to be authentic.
what's the mission, Damian? Because in order for human beings to get anything done, we have to have a reason why. We have to have a reason why we do it, right? And there's two pieces to that. There's practical. That's like the money, the tangible benefits we get from accomplishing the thing. But then there's a purposeful why, like a missional why. And we don't talk about that a lot in the car business, do we?
Oh, I do.
You do, but you're different
Yeah,
though.
that's a second pillar of high achievement.
So
Is intentionality.
So what's yeah, we got to make the money. But a lot of people's managers are telling them, do this stuff so you can make the money. Do this stuff so you can make the money. But that doesn't feel good because then everything I'm doing is just to make a sale. Talk to us about the mission,
so much
brother.
Money and money don't mean nothing no more. And some money never, has not meant much to a lot of us, right?
Doesn't mean much now.
Right, doesn't mean much now. But you get to a point too where you got so much money, you got more money than you think you'll ever need, and you go, what's my purpose? Because you got to have a purpose. You got to have a why, right? And my why is just to get people to see that they're worthy, that they deserve, right? That there is a next level. Everybody who works with me, who hires me, says the same thing. I want more. I want more happiness, more joy, more connection with my kids, more freedom,
significance, love, growth, contribution.
Whatever it is they want. And the goal is you find that one thing that you can keep turning up, keep turning that leaf, and it still is your primary thing. I still get so turned on. My feet touch the ground, and I know I'm gonna do something like this. When as the day got on today, I did 3 or 4 things today on the webcast, right? The closer I got to this, the more I was going, man, this is gonna be fun. Because I get to teach. And I got this past of mine that was horrible at times.
Yeah.
It was a blessing at times. But those times in my past that were tough, they became what's known now as wisdom. Because I lived it and I experienced it. And now I get to help high achieving salespeople, like 100-car people and 70 and 80-car people that have been on these phone calls with me the last couple of weeks, right? That we've been talking. They're excited, right? And look, one of the things I teach is being debt free. I know that goes against everything everybody teaches, but Ali and I said, pay off all your bills. 6 months where you don't have to work, right? Pay off all your bills, stacks it. So all of our people who've been working with us for years are going, man, y'all nailed that. Because Ali was saying, let me tell you what happened in 2008. I almost lost my house.
Yeah.
And so we're saying, look, there's a time to invest, but there's also a time to be clean.
Yeah.
And now's the time we looking like geniuses, right? Right? Because they're all paid off. One of my guys says, I wish I had stacked more money up to save, but I don't have any bills.
Yeah. So the mission's focused outward, right?
It's always been right.
Jim Collins in the book Good to Great, he talks about the difference between a level 4 leader, right? So on a scale of 1 to 5, the level 4 leaders got ambition and drive and energy. They're unbeatable, optimism. But a level 5 leader, the difference between level 4 and level 5 is humility. And so in a level 4 person, all of that optimism and drive is focused on me. What does it do for me?
Yeah.
But the level 5 person, all of that energy, ambition, and drive is focused outward. What can I do for other people?
Yeah, because we don't need anything.
I just think it's so ironic that in our quest to achieve greatness, the thing that separates the good leaders from the really great leaders is this thing called humility that you would never necessarily associate with greatness.
Yeah, we're not. There's nothing great about us. We just are. We're just being who we are at our best. And by showing up and just being me, I'm nothing fancy. I'm nothing. I'm unimpressive. I'm not insignificant. But really, in the whole scheme of things, I'm no better, no worse than my person who's struggling to get to 10. I just am at a different level than them as far as freedom. But truthfully, we're just energy. Every one of us is in the quantum field, we're 99% energy and 1% particle, right? So my energy is just at a different frequency than somebody next to me's energy. Doesn't mean their energy can't evolve. Mine has. Mine's evolved crazy. I'm the luckiest person you ever met because the energy I have around me attracts and it's a magnet for bringing the right things to me.
Yeah. Do you think I mean, you obviously believe that that's something that can be improved upon because you just said that your energy is different now than it used to be. So, okay, so let's start at the bottom, right? Let's talk about the guy or gal they're just starting out and they've made it through their first 3 months of enthusiastic, energetic, excited sales, and they've settled into the pit of justification. They know all the reasons why they can't sell someone. They know all the reasons why the customer can't buy, and they're justifying all the reasons why it's not their fault, and it's an energy suck, right? It feels bad.
They've lost their beingness.
What do you say to this person to get them back up, to get the energy back up, to start generating that emotionally positive state so that we can get back to a point where we're successful? How do you get out of that?
Yeah, we're all in mindset now. So if you had to say, who am I at my best? And if you had to write a list of characteristics that says when I am who I am at my best, I am happy, I am driven, I am charismatic, I'm inspirational, I'm transformational, I am interesting, I'm entertaining, I'm fun, I'm helpful, I'm caring, I'm compassionate, I'm all of these things, right? Now, if you had to step in that every day and you chose to step into that monster every day, then you wouldn't have any of those thoughts. Because when you are who you are at your best, you're in your best mindset. Your physicality is at its best. Your mentality is at its best. Your spirituality is at its best. And so what we want to do is there's 5 pillars of high achievement I teach. And one of the things you have to do is know who you are at your best and then master the ability to having the awareness to step into that person whenever you need it, however you need it, right? Now, the way you use that is the second thing. You have to know where you're going and why. Now, a person who's 3 months in the business, if they're all dialed into the pity party and the victimization and why things suck, it's because they lost the dream. They've lost the where are they going and why, the intentionality. Now, if they had to put food on the table of their children who were starving, I guarantee you they wouldn't be in pity party mode. They'd be in get it done mode. Yeah. Because it's no longer about them. Even at that level, they become aspirational for others. And they're not thinking about themselves. The person you described is selfish because all they're doing is thinking of what they don't have. And in a world where you think about what you don't have, what you attract is what you get.
So I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins. You know who Tony Robbins is.
Yep.
He talks about the person's ability to change their state, to control the state that they're in. And he says that suffering is internal, right? Pain is external. Pain is imposed upon you. The fact that you have no money, that's painful. But the suffering, the problems of me, that's an internal dialogue. And that's the best way to snap out of that is to focus on something bigger than yourself. So you mentioned, I got kids, right? That's something that's more important than me. That's bigger than myself that I can choose to focus on, right? The love I have for another person, my belief in a higher power, my belief in the connectedness of people and the importance of relationships. And that's right to the core of everything that you teach people how to be in sales, right? That's the mission. The mission is the other people and serving the other people.
But it doesn't have to be. So you're right. It is intrinsic, right? It is about, what am I doing for others? So, but there are people who will do more for themselves than they will for other people. So there's extrinsic and the intrinsic reasons why somebody will do so. I want the damn car. I want the jet ski. I want the big boat. I want to look better than the guy next to me, right? I want to sell 40 cars. They're selling 30 cars, right? And so those are real too. That's all leverage. That's all leverage, but it's all motivating, right? I want to be better, right? Versus, yeah, I'll never be better.
What would you say to someone who doesn't want to be better?
Good choice. That's a good choice. That's a good choice for you. I mean, I'm not here to carry dead people up a mountain to see a view. You know, there are people who want to run. Managers do that all the time. Managers take the bottom of their sales staff who is a pain in the ass, and they spend 80% of their time on these people who suck. And they got this kid who's getting 8-10 cars a month, who'll go get coffee for him, who'll crawl through bottle glass, who'll try to do whatever they want, who's studying and watching videos, and they don't get any attention because this bottom feeder over here, who's got so much potential with no desire, is getting all the attention.
Ooh, I'm just gonna let that one settle for a second. I'm gonna let that sink in. We got to do better as managers, don't we, in this business? As an industry.
You can't because you've been given a job title that is overwhelmed with tasks. You take every task. We took every task a manager has to do, right? And we chunked it into 4 boxes. Ali and I did, right? The first box we'll call productive activities. And if you just took your productive activities, Ben, and you wrote them all down, these are productive activities: working a car deal, desking a deal, appraising a car, ordering inventory, structuring a deal, all the things that are productive.
Important things.
And wrote them down. Important things. You go, wow. And then you took the next plus. There's another box that's kind of helps build your dealership. And that's certifications, that's teaching, from desks, teaching and education, and just learning somebody the business. That's the next box. And all the things that go into teaching, hiring some people, that goes in that box, right? And then you have a box of unproductive activities. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. The bullshit meetings y'all got to go to, the tasks that y'all have to do that have nothing to do with productivity. And then you have a 4th box called babysitting, rat killing, and telling somebody they got to go home and take a shower and change their shirt. Chasing down certification because they're not doing the certifications. Now look, you got all these things in all these boxes, and if you just looked at everything you have to do, there's no way you can be successful. That's why managers get fired exponentially more than salespeople. Is because y'all's job is impossible. And then on top of that, you got a dealer who speaks the language of numbers. They walk into the dealership in the morning, they got 2 computer screens. They look at the computer screens and they go, what the hell happened here? Holy shit. Man, I need you to come to my damn office.
Damian, you better watch yourself. I'm pretty sure my boss is watching this.
When I say Ben, let me just be clear. I'm talking about other Bens.
I got you, man.
Here, right? Not this Ben. There's other Bens.
You're in a safe place, man. It's okay. We're confident. We're secure. We talked about this earlier. You go right ahead and preach it, brother. You keep preaching it. Tell us what.
Then the dealer goes to the manager who speaks tasks and accountability. And the manager translates what the dealer says into task and who should do it and when they should do it and why they didn't do it. And they go talk to an emotional butterfly called a salesman who only wants to make everybody happy. And Ben starts chewing on that boy's ear, and the boy goes, it screws up his whole day. So we got 3 different languages. Nobody speaks the same language, but at least nobody has the same outcome at the beginning of the month, because everybody knows a career in the car business lasts 30 days unless it's a COVID-19, and then it's over now.
Awesome. That's awesome stuff, man. That's
So-
new stuff that I haven't heard before, so it's awesome.
Brett,
Well, that's because we're going to start teaching managers, because bless y'all's heart, y'all got it rough. And y'all need to know how to develop people. Your job is not to sell cars. Your job is to develop me into somebody who has their own business that the dealer pays all the bills for, so that I can just wait on my people and not wait on any dealer-driven opportunities.
So let me ask you this question. Brett and I had the opportunity to work together as two managers at the same store, right? So the brief story is, I was privileged to be a part of hiring him into the business, and I had the privilege of taking him through training and everything, and then we went our separate ways, and we came back together at a new acquisition for our dealership group. He came on as the assistant sales manager, and then he became the pre-owned sales manager. And we would talk sometimes about different things. And one of the concepts that we talked about was dividing, instead of having a new manager and a pre-owned manager, having a like a merchandising manager, and that would include all of the the task things, all of the productive activities that need to get done, and like a people manager, right? An emotional manager. This is the trainer and the closer, and kind of dividing the tasks that way. What do you think that would make sense for a management structure at a store?
I think anything would make sense more than what's being done. I mean, you look at the numbers. 71.9% of salespeople fail the first year. In 1975, the average salesman sold 10. In 1995, the average salesman sells 10. In 2018, the average salesman sells 8. Thank God they make less money per sale now. The dealers spend $620 a unit on advertising to attract customers in, so salespeople can make about $350 per unit, and they don't make any money on the front end unless they sell a warranty or a doc fee. This is a great business model, by the way. I don't recommend anybody opening a dealership. But unless the business model changes to where the dealer doesn't have to spend the $620 and be at the mercy of the marketing program, then the dealers are going to, they're one regulation away from having the warranties messed with or the doc fees regulated, to being in trouble financially.
All right, so let's talk about how to get out of trouble, right? We get paid to do the people stuff. The business of our business, as you say in the book, is people.
Yep.
We get paid to do that. So we gotta get paid. We gotta deserve that money. We gotta earn that money, right? If the customers don't want our help with the decision, they can go and they can click online, they can buy the car, and it'll come down on the little truck in 3 days, and everybody's happy.
Everybody's happy.
If they don't see the value in the service that we provide, shame on us. We don't deserve to get paid.
Based on the way dealers have done business for the last 40 years, since I've been in it since 1983, the consumer trusts an internet marketing company in Boston more than they trust the person with a building on Main Street supplying jobs for 200 people.
Now you're talking about the car gurus, man. Why you got to go and bring up the car gurus?
I can bring up any one of them. You want to talk about TrueCar? They're all great companies providing customers what dealers never had: trust, transparency, honesty, connection. Now, I can promise you what ain't happening in the communities right now. Ain't not a damn one of those companies providing money to Lake Charles, Louisiana, to Memorial Hospital to help them nurses. They ain't not a one of them providing anybody any help to the schools who are in trouble right now or distributing food in the local thing. They ain't not one of them providing the ability for a baseball team to have the T-ball league with the name of those car companies on the back. But that local dealership is. But they ain't getting no credit for it.
So what is that, man? What's the disconnect, right? Because you got the customers over here.
You got a customer, right? Has bought 5 cars from the same dealership. He walks in the dealership. First of all, his salesman's not there who sold him the last one. But at least we're going to treat him as if they've never been to the store before. everybody's treated like a new customer. Everybody's treated like, all right, let's hit them high and work them low. There's no gratitude for the person who bought 4 cars and has 7 cars going through our service department and has spent X amount of dollars. Oh yeah, we're willing to data mine their ass, but we ain't willing to show any appreciation on a regular basis for nothing.
I think there are dealers that would disagree with that, but I think
okay. Well, now wait. Now you got 5% of the dealer in the country maybe doing that.
Sure. I don't know. I'm not going to guess.
I mean, I think he has a great point, Ben. We're working on like a smaller market, probably a smaller sample size. The store I'm at, we sell probably 40 to 70 cars a month. Small community. I have 5 salespeople with me. So I think we know that we've had salespeople that have built those relationships and they've been in the business for 25 years that are part of the community. That person gets treated special. That's
exactly right.
You go into Metro Detroit, where they're selling 300 cars a month, 600 cars a month. I mean, it's probably impossible or darn near impossible to remember every 600 sales that happen.
That's what you got a CRM for.
Right.
This is
as soon as a manager types in and sees the customer's history, if they bought previous cars, the manager needs to get up. If they're with a new salesman, right, who's never waited on before, needs to get up and say, I hope you don't mind if we don't do this business. You bought 4 cars from us.
Yeah.
You mind if I just give you my best price? And if you like it, good. And if you don't, I'm grateful for you.
Right.
And now you close the deal because it's an 80% sale because you just made it a relationship.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So wouldn't it be great? Because there's this whole problem. You got all the customers over here, right? And they just want to see all the cars that are for sale. And all the options available to them, all the potential solutions, the possibilities. They got all the dealerships over here, and all they want to do is show the cars to the customer and be excited and talk to them and interact. And you got this whole big blockage here in the middle of these vendor relationships, right? The vendors are friends with the customers, and they're friends with the dealerships, and they're making money off of everybody. Wouldn't it be great if we could just cut that wall down, knock that out of the equation so that we can relationally be one with our customers and our communities?
Yeah. High achieving salespeople who do business the way we teach, only waiting on people who know them. Those customers don't check TrueCar. TrueCar's not bad. Car Gurus isn't bad. I mean, they might have business problems. I don't know. But as a concept, they're providing a need that is real. Yeah. And you can discount Carvana all you want. They can never provide that instant gratification and that emotional high that we get, right, at a dealership.
Yeah.
But they're there because of us. We're there because customers don't trust us. Yeah. And they don't, when I say us, I'm talking about a company. They trust individuals. We have no face. We have no human face. The humanity of successful dealerships and salespeople, there's a face to it. Dealerships that have owners that are connected in the community, that are making a difference, there's a face. This right here.
Where do you think
Holly Rita has a face? Jerry Gherkin has a face. All these people have a face.
Where do you think's the line there? And I'm thinking of my owners right now specifically, who are they take a pretty low key approach. They contribute a lot to the community, but they don't put their name on everything. Where do you think's the line there? I mean, should we be putting our name on everything that we get? It's a personal really decision, right?
We're back to authenticity, right? Salespeople need to take advantage of those places because there are places that your dealers are generously participating in the community, that some of your salespeople are existing in that, that group, right? They're part of that basketball league that is being taken care of by the dealer. They're part of the Heart Association or the men's breakfast that happens all the time, right? It's just that there's no connection between the salesperson who's involved in the community, because we haven't been selling salespeople on getting involved in the community, And so salespeople can own that. Now, salespeople think that they're going to sell a lot of cars as a result of going to, the Chamber of Commerce meetings. But that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's not going to happen quickly, right? But when it does happen, it really starts to ramp up. But your dealer is part of Rotary. They're part of Kiwanis. They're part of the Chamber. And nobody goes.
Yeah.
And the Rotary's great people, Kiwanis, man, they're all about the kids, right? They're all about the schools. They're great organizations. You have dealerships who are involved in schools. I know dealerships that say there's not a child in these three schools right here, that are ever going to need tennis shoes, a t-shirt, a coat in the wintertime. They're going to have notebooks. They're going to have teachers. Don't buy none of that. Y'all call us. We got it.
Yeah.
And nobody is there at that school.
Yeah.
And those teachers love what they're doing.
Yeah. We haven't taken any comments. It's just all been one Damian mic drop after another. And we're just drinking it in from the fountain of knowledge and wisdom here. Do we need to catch up on comments, Brett? Where are we at with this?
Just real quick, Damian, you have a ton of people that are loving what you say.
Thank you very much, y'all. It's only because you think the same way. Your mirror is the same way.
Right. Debbie Wolf says, thank you for the positive vibes. Jason Sellers says, amen. Kristen Ann does the clap emoji about 100 times. Peter says, amen. 44 years in the business, and this is how I've always tried to carry myself.
Thank you, buddy.
We have a question that I'm going to circle back around to at the end. Philip Fakin wants to know what your third step of the road to the sale was again.
Offer solutions with choices.
Offer solutions with choices. Kat Wolverton claps a bunch of times, a lot of clapping. Kim says you're really reaching her soul and she appreciates it.
Thank you, babe.
Just a lot of love, Damian. People really appreciate what you're doing, what you're preaching. It's really hitting home with people.
We wanted to bring you on because we agree with you 100%, right? Like we identify with you as a person that we align with, and so that's why we got such a good thing going on here, because we align with you. We like talking to people. We like people that are like us, or people that we like to be like, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. How much time we got left, Brett? What do we?
We got about 5 minutes. So I got 2 questions that people have asked that if we could touch on real quickly. Kim asked, what advice would you give a brand new dealership who doesn't have a relationship in the community? How would they develop that relationship?
Well, it starts with each individual person, right? So it starts with you. How do you develop relationships? Well, you already have relationships, especially if you're from that community. So let's start with the individual people just being connected to the community and just being friends with everybody, right? And letting them know, And so right now is the greatest time, because there are nurses and doctors and people who are providing services at the grocery stores. These people are heroic now. These are critical services that we could just compliment people on and show appreciation for. The greatest way to connect to people is to be appreciative of them for what they do without trying to make it look like you need something back. You just give appreciation. You just show gratitude for what they're doing. You just compliment their effort for whatever it is. You participate in the local businesses around you. When I was selling, I was the mayor of the little restaurant I went to every day. I mean, everybody knew me at that restaurant. But you just got to connect to people and go to places and be part of their lives.
Yeah. Even if you're new to the community, the people that you hire to work there are not new to the community, right?
Exactly right. Exactly right. If you wanted to go deeper, is it okay if I tell them a free site to get a whole bunch of videos and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Brett, you mind? So if you go to Auto Success Blueprint, I'll give you 2 things. The first thing is it's about 35 videos. We'll start with the 21. There's 21 videos that are called Stacked Socratic learning. So you can't watch the third one without watching the first one. Now I'm going to tell you, you need to do the work. You need to fill it out. I'm funny sometimes. Trust me. I mean, I go crazy sometimes, and I'm just funny. I'm not trying to be entertaining. I'm telling you, everything I do is to change the inside of you, because if you can learn it from your heart center, then you don't have to think. You don't have to remember. What did the boy from Louisiana say anyway? I got to remember those words. No, you don't have to remember nothing I say.
You just
got to remember how you felt.
You're a human
because
being.
How you feel is what you are, right? That's right. You're a human being.
Not a human doing, a human being.
Right. So those 21 videos, and just so you know, I did those videos about 2.5 years ago. And unfortunately, Ben, I was a little bit sarcastic toward management then. I did not have the appreciation that I do now. So if you want a couple of giggles, watch them, because I'm a little sacrilegious to managers.
That's okay, man. So we won't be offended, because Brett and I, we're not like all the other managers. We're the best managers out there. We're like you, man.
So what's
right. We're the people's managers.
Can you give the website one more time, Damian? Where can they watch those at?
autosuccessblueprint.com. autosuccessblueprint.com. If somebody will type that in there, that'd be great.
Yeah, I got it. Pull up on the
next one is the book that Ali Rita and I wrote, right? And at some point, Ali Rita said, he was at 100 cars, right? He was just doing great. He said, "How do I help? How do I give back? How do I share what we've done?" And I said, "Oh, we can get on stage. You can get on stage and you can teach from stage." And he said, "Okay, I'll get on stage." And he sucked. He was terrible. He looked over at me about 3 minutes in and he goes, "You've got to bail me out." I said, "Or we can write a book." So we wrote a book, so I want to give it to your audience as a gift. It's how to sell. The name of the book is How to Sell 100 Cars a Month. And it talks about the baseball diamond of transactional and relationship selling, and the mentality of closing 20% or selling 80% of the people you talk to, right? How did we get to those levels? How do I help these people just keep surpassing their next level and getting to the levels of, 20 cars, 30 cars, 40 cars, 50 cars, 60 cars and above, right? And it really goes into it in a simple read. But I'll give you that book, a download of that book, right? Just go to howtosell100, howtosell100cars.com. howtosell100cars.com. I got to go the right way. And read the book, and you'll see who Ali Rita is, right? And he and I work with salespeople all over. We just love helping you. We want salespeople to be proud of what they do and how they do it and where they do it. And we want our children to respect us for what we do. So the business we build for salespeople teaches that when the dad walks in the candy store, he gets the candy for free, and the children think he's in the mafia.
Awesome. And then one more thing, you're writing a new book right now. You mentioned, have you titled that yet?
No, we haven't titled it yet. We're on chapter 6. It'll be the best book in the auto industry I've ever written. I've written children's books that are incredible, but for the auto industry, I've written, this will be my third book, right? The first book I wrote was Keep It Simple Selling. And that's like the recipe book of how I've helped so many people, right? Now, that book is getting a rewrite right now because we need to make it simpler. It's too big, right? So people aren't reading it. So Ali and I are rewriting that book and changing it up to fit better into the models of what we're teaching them. The second book is How to Sell 100 Cars. And this third book is a book to help teach managers how to develop people and teach salespeople like I teach them, so that you can teach them from desk, so that you're helping salespeople develop their own business, so that the timeline of starting to 5 years in the business, they own their own business. They no longer wait on any dealer-driven opportunities. Every person they talk to comes in for them. And we show you how to do that and your role goes from teacher, protector to guide, mentor to coach to partner. And so your role evolves as the salesperson's business evolves. And we have benchmarks for every level that we show how to do that. It'll be a game changer for the industry because it'll get salespeople and managers and dealers all on the same page of here's the shared outcome. When I hire you in the business, this is my ultimate goal for you from day one. And now the goal isn't to sell a lot of cars by the end of the month, so careers no longer last 30 days. It's a much loftier goal, much more aspirational, and much more based on how humans think and feel and want to belong.
That's going to be a fantastic read because I think a lot of people want that. They hear you say that and they want that and they want to be that and they have no idea how to do it, right?
Nope, nobody does.
So they've got the
why.
why.
An emotional book.
They've got the motivation, but they don't know how. We need the methods and mechanics.
The roadmap to get there.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm excited about that book. I'm really turned on. And Ali and I have been working really hard on it during this COVID thing. And, he just went back to work and we just spent an hour. And it's not an easy deal to write a book the way we do it because, we go deep. We get a lot of research and we've been working on it for a while.
Yeah.
You managers have it tough. I'm telling you, I had no idea. I have so much more respect for you. I should have a long time ago. I just felt like you didn't care and you were in the way. And you can't care. How do you care? How does somebody go to work at a dealership, right? And they say, I'm going to make a difference, knowing that 6 months from now, they're probably going to get fired.
Yeah. Well,
how do you passionately do that?
You have to be aligned. You have to be aligned with the goals of your ownership, right? Your GM. You have to get in sync with those guys and understand what you're trying to accomplish. Brett and I talk about the 3 pillars of management. 3 pillars of management for us. Number 1, accountability. But accountability is only 33% of the job. The other 66% is inspiration and encouragement.
Yeah.
So I got to spend 2/3 of my time trying to inspire other people to get the result that I want, that from themselves.
I like that.
And the other piece of it is encouragement. So encourage, the word means to give, to impart courage. In order to do that, I got to know something. I got to actually give some legitimate information, but I also have to address people where they're at to actually inspire this courage. And that's 2/3 of the job for us, right? And we're not perfect at it. We fall down every day, but the tendency for sales managers to get so bogged down and so sucked in to all the important stuff, right? That we miss out on the other 2/3, which is inspiring and encouraging our people.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's a tough thing, man. There's no easy solution to that.
You got accountability, inspiration,
and encouragement.
And encouragement.
Yeah, those are the 3 pillars of management for us.
That's good.
We have 3 pillars of belief for salespeople. You want to know what those are?
Yeah.
We got our three pillars of belief for salespeople. We ask people to believe these no matter what. Okay? Because if we don't believe these things, we're going to justify. Number 1, believe that you can sell everyone. That if you do and say the exact right things in the exact right order, exactly how the customer needs to hear them, that there is a magical straight line to the sale that you could sell everyone. And it's not true because you don't have a 100% closing ratio. But you got to approach every transaction believing it. Right?
Right.
Tunes your brain to stay positive. Brett's looking at me because I'm going to yammer on now. I'll go fast. Right? Second pillar of belief, we have a car. There exists in the inventory a vehicle that fits the wants, needs, desires, and budget of every customer. We just have to believe it. We just keep looking for that car. Otherwise, we justify we didn't have what they wanted. And the third pillar of belief is we can do an average deal. Sometimes a little higher, sometimes a little lower. But the smart people that started and run this dealership, the salespeople here, the managers, the owners, we can do an average car deal. There is no better deal down the road. And if I don't believe that as a salesperson, there's always some competitor that I just can't beat. We just can't compete.
I like it.
And
They're different than my three beliefs. Believe in the deal, believe in yourself, and believe in the dealership.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's good though. I like that. Yours is good.
The deal, yourself, the dealership, right? So that's baked into the system too. But this, I'm just I sit all the guys down when I first hire them. I just went through this with a new guy again. He's, by the way, single-handedly caused this whole catastrophe. He is the new guy. You know how the new guys come into the business, and then 3-6 months in, they're just like the whole industry's coming down, man. Everything's changed. It's just people don't do business this way anymore. They're like, we're doing it wrong, right? This guy, he brought it down all by himself. His name's John. It's his fault. No, but I sit him down. I give him the speech, the why, the how, the do. Don't justify, believe. I make them raise their right hand and swear that they believe these 3 things. I got my guys walking up and down the hallway like, I don't think this guy's gonna buy it. Just believe it. I believe it. And we just keep hammering. You know what I mean? We just keep doing it.
Right.
We'll talk to you more about all that stuff. This is your show. We are so happy to have you on.
I'm grateful.
I mean, you shared a lot of great information with us. I'm going to go back and watch it. So for anybody watching, this video will be live in this group for 24 hours. Okay? There's a lot of posts that happen in this group every day, and we don't want people seeing the same thing all the time. So this post will be live in this group for 24 hours. The video will then be archived on YouTube, and I'll tell everybody how to find it and share it around and look for it later if they want to. So if you want to share this with anybody inside of our group, do it within the next 24 hours, right? If you want to add additional comments and all that stuff, we're going to copy all that over, but it's only going to live here for a day, and then it's gone, and then it's archived on YouTube. So, get that all shared around and everything. You've been more than generous with your time, Damian. We really appreciate it.
Grateful for what y'all are doing.
Is there anything that you'd like to leave us with?
Yeah, get excited. Connect with people, love people. There's never been a better time, and it's real, because there's going to be a lot of salespeople quit. There's going to be a lot of people who think that it's easier to collect $1,000 a week in an unemployment than to stay in this business. And I'm going to tell you, every time there's a big drop, that at the end of the time, the people who stuck it out are the people who shine. And the fact that it's tougher right now is going to make you better later.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're in the crucible, would you say? Right?
Yeah.
We're in that refining moment, right? And we need to, amidst all the chaos, all the uncertainty, we're doing social distancing. We need to practice some fear distancing right now. Some uncertainty distancing, right?
Well said. The human spirit is unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
There's so many stories of people in our lives who have overcome obstacles that you cannot imagine, and they survived and thrived and are beautiful as a result of it. And
right.
You think this is going to take you down, you're right.
See,
if you think this is going to get you to the next level, you're right.
See, but this isn't as dramatic as climbing a mountain or fighting a war or surviving a famine, right? This is about overcoming this is such a small thing, right? If it was really a war, Damian, I could pick up my gun and we could go fight. It'd be hand-to-hand combat. It's man stuff. I could do it, right? But this is a war of emotions. This is a war of mindset. Right. And it all comes down to all my fear and anxiety and frustration and anger. It all comes out in, hey, Mrs. Jones, how you doing today? Right? What's this about? Well, I just wanted to let you know about 0% for 84 months. Son, they're dying out there. Don't call me. And it's just like, oh.
Yeah.
Right? We can do it. We can do it right. We got to do it right. We can do it.
Got to do it right.
Right? It's a battle of the mind, a battle of the mindset, battle of the emotional state. I love you, brother.
Love you, man. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Brett, appreciate you, buddy.
This has been Life at a Car Dealership Live. Thank you for joining us. We are your hosts, Ben and Brett. Big thanks to our most honored guest today, Mr. Damian Boudreaux, sales trainer, performance coach, mentor, motivational speaker, and And now, our most very special friend. Thank you, Damian. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We will talk to you all later. Peace.